What's up, everybody? Today in the shop we have a 2013 Audi Q7 Supercharged. This is way nicer than the other Audi we just worked on. It's beautiful in here. The owner's complaint is that it has a misfire. If I rev it, it's shaking very bad. So I did a full code scan, health report, and then this is what was in the ECU. We have a evap very small leak, a cylinder 3 and 6 misfire, random cylinder misfire. Don't know what that means. And then we have 2 O2 sensor codes. So let's go look at some live data and let's get this diagnosed and fixed. Alright, so I got some relevant information pulled up here. You could see that on our long-term fuel trims we have -7, and then bank 2 is -1. That's fine. But our short terms are -21. So this car's running very rich and keeps getting worse and worse. Like, I don't know if you could tell on camera, but this thing is shaking. Anyways, before I do anything, the owner got a new set of spark plugs. He wanted me to throw these in, just unrelated, just do it. So honestly, I want to do that real quick, and you know, maybe we get lucky and it improves. But yeah, let's do that and then let's get back to the diag. Here's a good look at the car. I realized I forgot to show it. Alright, so I got these spark plugs installed. When I pulled out this cylinder right here, excuse me, when I pulled out that cylinder right there, that was this really dark spark plug. As soon as I pulled it out, it was steaming. Like, I don't know if the time lapse showed it, it was literally steaming. So I'm like, what the heck? And as I'm working, over here I heard a bunch of bubbling sounds. Now, another customer complaint was that there's a coolant leak, but he doesn't know where it's coming from. He says he has to add coolant every day. Right? He says there's no visible drips or anything on the ground or nothing. There's just a coolant leak. Now, while I was doing that, I opened the oil cap. And take a look at that. That does not look good, man. It's looking real bad for this engine. I don't know, maybe this supercharger has air to water intercoolers and that's where the coolant's going. Because again, I heard the bubbling in this general area. So we'll see. I'll have to put it on a pressure tester. But for the time being, let's go fire it up and see if these new spark plugs improved anything. Alright, I'm in the car. I got the live data pulled back up. Nope, it's running the exact same. -20 on our fuel trims. I wish we could see misfire counters, but it doesn't show us. I'll go back to the Audi menu and try again. Alright, so we don't have any misfire counters, which is unfortunate. And the car's running horrible. And now I'm starting to smell coolant. So maybe that's a good thing, I don't know. Let's go to the engine bay and check it out. Alright, so here at the engine bay, you don't hear the bubbling now. It was there earlier, but when I squeeze this upper coolant hose right here, you could hear some type of like cavitation or like some air in there, kind of indicating that there's a, well, if these are coolant lines, then these are the high spots, so it makes sense that air would be in here. But just take a listen. Not sure if you could hear that, but something definitely going on here near the supercharger. Now I'm wondering if this has some type of an oil cooler or air to water intercooler here. Either way, I feel like we're gonna have to get the pressure tester on it and find out. Alright, so I was just doing some inspecting and trying to see. I did some research. There is a thermostat housing right here underneath the supercharger. There's also the PCV valve underneath this supercharger in between the valve of the engine. Sometimes the PCV valve fails and you got to replace that, which involves taking off the lower intake manifold as well. And then finally there's a oil cooler housing right there that also tends to fail, and the owner told me that there's a little puddle of oil here. I'm not sure if that's related, I don't think so, but yeah, he wanted me to check that out too. Now the thing is, there's no like access. I couldn't even get the camera in here I tried to put like a screwdriver to see if it'll come out with coolant, but there's like no access here to be able to tell whether or not it's leaking. So I wanted to put my pressure tester on it. I grabbed this napkin and I went to carefully open this up so that, you know, it doesn't blow in my face. And I realized it's not holding any pressure whatsoever. Like, it just came off without any drama. So clearly the leak is very big. So I'm gonna put the pressure tester on it right now and we're gonna see. I'm gonna pump it up and we'll see where we hear noises coming from. Alright, so I got the pressure tester hooked up. Let's just pump it up. If we could get it up to like 15, that'd be cool. Alright, so it's pumped up. It's leaking slightly from the actual cap. But let's come over here and take a listen. And you could definitely hear something going on. Yeah, you could hear it. It's definitely going to be that oil cooler. The oil cap is enough evidence for us to call that. But the fact that I could hear hissing in there, it's going to be either like a crossover pipe or oil cooler. But I'm betting on the oil cooler just because of this. I also kind of want to take this out since this was steaming, make sure it's not a head gasket leak. So let me do that real quick too. Uh-oh. You guys hear that? It's coming from right in there. As soon as I turn the camera off. I'm gonna take this out again too, just to see if it's a head gasket or not, because obviously the engine's running horribly, so it could be a number of things here. But that's oil in the coolant, so that's unfortunate. Let me do this and get back. Alright, I'm about to take this out. It's not steaming that time. And that looks fine. It's not like wet or anything. I wish I could, this borescope that I have sucks. Like, I wish I had something better to be able to see in there, but I don't. So alright, well, let me think of the next course of action. We might do a compression test. I think that might be a good idea. Alright, so I got the compression tester hooked up. This thing's not accurate at all, but we'll just test for consistency. And then I got the fuel pump control module fuse pulled out, so hopefully that's good enough. Let's go crank it. I only got the spark plugs on this side out, so if it sounds weird, that's why. Oh my god, it started. Why did it start? Let me do some research. Let me see which fuse I just pulled. Alright, so I went through and I like took out more fuses and tried to look at the relay. The relay box in this doesn't even match any diagram I could find online. It's stupid. It's pissing me off. So anyways, I just took the reading anyway, despite the car trying to start. So you could see over here we got say 140. So let's move it on to the next cylinder. Let's test all three on this bank. Alright, so next, again, when I take it out of that, it was steaming. You could kind of still see it. Anyways, whatever. Should be good. I have no idea why it's trying to start like this. This is stupid. Okay. Same exact compression. One more. Alright, last one. And I'm not testing the other bank. Okay. Let's go look at the results. Alright. And okay, we got a lot more here. It's not too good, man. It's not looking good. Alright, so I got it back together. Got all the fuses back. Let's give it a start. Let it clear out after all that, and then I wanna take it on the test drive just to see how it acts under load. And then I think we wanna rule out a bad head gasket, right? So my next course of action would be to do a leak down test. And I don't have a leak down tester on hand, so I'm gonna have to go see if I could get my hands on one today, because I want to get this car out of here by tonight. I just want to do the diag and then give it back to him, because too many Audis, man. Anyways, yeah, let's do that real quick, and then we'll try to do a leak down test, and we'll do give him a final diag. All right. shaking. It's almost like it's out of time, like one of the cylinders is firing at the wrong time or something. Anyways, let's read the codes because we gotta check engine now. So switch off engine and check coolant level. Yep, we lost a bunch of coolant, I'm assuming, from, you know, pressurizing the system and all that. So misfire, ECM, yeah. Okay, let's clear codes. Okay, no faults right now. I wanna go take a look at the coolant level. I wanna see exactly how much we lost and then we'll go from there. Man, we lost a lot of coolant. It just took a whole 4-liter thing of distilled water, a gallon. So now you could see how much the engine's shaking. See it better here. But yeah, let's just take it for a test drive real quick. I want to see how it acts under load, and then in a bit, if I can, I'll do a leak down test, and that'll be the final diag. All right, ready to take it on a drive. Give it some gas. Oh wow, this thing drives beautifully, man. The Supercharger is nice, but that's a bad sign. The fact that it clears up so nicely, engine runs perfectly under load. So if it's leaking through the head gasket, then it could just be, you know, under a high enough RPM where the fuel offsets it and it's just burning through it. But the thing is, I don't see no smoke from the tailpipe. Right, and it's a cold day, so I would definitely see it. But I don't, so I'm kind of hopeful. Maybe it's just a coil thing. The thing is, without the misfire counters, it's so hard to diagnose it. Like, I don't know which cylinders are actively misfiring, and then if I switch them over, I don't know if that misfire is gonna follow. And like, the misfire code's not even active right now. It was a pending code and it's not even coming up. I could scan it one more time right now though, just to see if anything came back, because we did clear the codes. So let me do that. If misfire codes came back, I'm gonna switch the coils, clear the codes, and see what comes back. So let's scan it real quick. No, we don't got no misfire codes, but we do have the 202 sensor control code. So that's interesting. I'm gonna have to, I think these were here earlier and I just glossed over it for some reason, but I think that might be contributing to our misfires, honestly. Anyways, let's drive it back to the shop. I'll come up with a game plan. Alright, so I'm back at the garage and I just checked the oil. The more I drive it, the more milk shaky it's becoming. So yes, the oil and coolant is actively mixing. I think instead of even going for a leak down test, I think straight up we could just go for a combustion gas test in the coolant. I don't know how this Audi set up, if this is just an overflow tank or if whatever, but we could try it. And if that fails, then yeah, it's done. If that passes, then we could go for the leak down test. So let me see if I have the stuff real quick and we'll do that. Alright, so I had some, got it set up. Let's go turn it on. We're gonna use the manual pump. And we don't want it to turn yellow basically, so let's do it. Alright guys, so I was doing the test and it started turning yellow, so I got scared. And then I realized I'm sucking in coolant, but the coolant was so low. And then as I removed it, it started coming out more and more by itself. So is that the typical blown head gasket, coolant rising? I don't know, man. I'm gonna pump some out, pump the coolant out, and then give it one more shot, but this is not looking good at all. Alright, so I got a whole bottle of coolant pumped out. Let's see. I'm gonna do this again. I'm gonna give it about 60 pumps and I'll be back. Alright, so 60 pumps. Fluid still looks blue, but this thing is starting to smoke from somewhere. Oh man. It's literally steaming from here and over there somewhere. This is so weird. Don't know why or what's going on, but I think it's the coolant in the valley that's burning off and it's just steaming. 'Cause that smells like coolant to me. All the coolant that's leaking in there. Anyways, I'll give it a few more pumps. Just to see. Just to be sure. Alright, so at least with this test, there's no combustion gases in the coolant. Man, this thing's starting to run worse and worse. It might stall on me. But yeah. Let me come up with the next steps and we'll keep on going. We gotta figure out what's wrong with this, give them a guaranteed diagnostics. So I shut the engine off and you can hear it very clearly now. So yeah, we're gonna need at least a thermostat housing and a PCV or oil cooler or whatever, however that system works. We're gonna need that at minimum. Let me let him know about that, and if he wants to proceed, then we'll keep diagnosing it. But for now, that's it. We'll hear that. So yeah, we need to take apart the supercharger at minimum. Do all those are all like preventative maintenance at that point. So you're gonna do all of them as one. We'll make sure the oil filter housing's not leaking either. If it is, we'll do that. And then as far as the misfires go, honestly, it might just be the coils. I'm gonna have to. Oh, and those O2 sensor codes. So I'll have to keep looking into that. But let me let him know first. All right, so I got a brand new PCV valve here. What's under this valley in the engine is the PCV valve and the thermostat housing. And this is the only place where oil and coolant can mix. So therefore this is the only thing that's under there, and this is bad, 100% confirmed. You guys heard the noise. So what I want to do is kind of take all this apart, take the supercharger off, and then if I can, I'll block off these two coolant pipes right here and run another pressure test and see if we could get like a visual or hear it even more up close to 100% confirmed that that's the issue. But as of right now, 100% this is bad. But the misfires, that's going to be a separate issue, because either coolant's getting in the combustion chamber somehow, which it seemed like it was, honestly, just because of that steam. I wish I had a better camera to confirm it, but anyways, either coolant's getting into the combustion chambers or those O2 sensor codes have something to do with the misfires. But there's two separate issues on this engine, and the first one is this. Before we can diagnose anything else, we have to tackle this. So let me take all this apart and we'll get that done, and then we'll continue. Alright, I finally got the supercharger out, and man, that thing is so heavy, like extremely heavy. I was not expecting that. My back hurts, literally. And yeah, here we could see the PCV valve. By the way, excuse the background noise if you guys could hear that. I'm gonna try to remove as much of it as I can, but you know, it is what it is. Anyways, here's the PCV valve that we need to replace. So we still need to take this side lower intake manifold off. The fuel line, there's this like secondary air hose, I think. There's some coolant lines that come through here, vacuum lines, all types of stuff. But right now I wanna see if I could pressure test the coolant system again. We're gonna have to block these off, but if I could do that, we'll get a good like audio out of it. So anyways, let me do that and I'll get back. Alright, I got about like half of the stuff out. This vacuum line, the lower intake manifold. It's also a fuel rail, so the injector stayed, which is good because I wasn't trying to deal with high pressure fuel injector seals and stuff, so that's fine. Got this vacuum thing out the way. But what I do see here is, if you see down there's a bunch of coolant, and this is the thermostat housing. So I'm not sure if that coolant's coming from the thermostat housing or this, or just from my testing earlier. You could see I kind of got everything wet. I was doing some testing off camera. Anyways, I'm gonna vacuum that up, but I'm gonna keep that in mind. So maybe we should replace that thermostat housing while we're in there. It would definitely be a good thing to do. Anyways, I'll keep you guys updated. Alright, so here's the old PCV. Got it out. Trying to find any like failure points in this gasket. And right off the bat, I could tell you it's very flat. If it'll focus. It's very flat, like it's been pancaked. So that could have been leaking, obviously. And then if you look here, it's just very flimsy, like it just breaks apart. I think that and a combination of it being flattened out is what did it, because if you compare it to the new gasket, obviously you could see it's pretty thick. So yeah, it's just been pancaked. And then if we look here, like I don't see any like obvious spots. You could see here where the gasket was. Like I don't see any obvious spots of where it could have been leaking, but anyways, we're gonna go ahead and replace that anyway. So yeah, let me throw the new one in here and then we'll continue. Alright guys, so I got to the point where I put the new PCV valve in, and then I blocked off the two coolant hoses and I tried to pressure test the system. And what I found was that the coolant crossover pipe, I don't know if you could see it right there, but there's literally a hole in it. And yeah, I didn't do that. And then it's also leaking from right here. It was kind of deformed. Sorry, it was kind of deformed, which I'll show you after, but yeah, if I try to add any type of pressure to the system, you could see it's all just pulling up there, and then you see it coming out there. Try again. There you go. So yeah, we're gonna need a new coolant crossover pipe. I'm gonna see if I could overnight one because this car's been here for a few days, just waiting for parts and whatnot. But yeah, I'll keep you guys updated. Alright, so I got the coolant crossover pipe out, and you could see the crack right there. And actually, if I put my pick and I kind of just pull, you can see that it goes all the way across. Oh, okay, I just made it worse. Anyways, so that's something that happened naturally, just with time and heat, but more so heat, because if you look at the end here, you see how that's not a circle, that's deformed. That's the side that goes right here towards the thermostat housing. This wasn't sealing either, and that's because this car's been overheated before. That's the only way this happens. So yeah, this plastic got too hot, got brittle, and broke. So we're gonna have to get a new one of these now. Alright, so I managed to get one in time, but this is aftermarket, so I want to install it real quick and do a quick leak test, or a pressure test, just like I did yesterday. I'm fortunate that I did that, because honestly, like, imagine I put all this back together and then caught the leak afterwards. So yeah, it shows you the importance of, you know, checking your work as you go, making sure you got everything proper. So anyways, let me slap this on, I'm gonna leak test it, and then we will continue. Well, of course the aftermarket part leaked, so I went ahead and I got another one. This one had a lot better reviews, looks better. You could see the valley got filled with coolant there. So yeah, it wasn't leaking from this side, actually. It was leaking from this side, from the side towards the firewall, where this goes into one of those clip connectors. But anyways, yeah, got a new one, so we're gonna slap this one on, test it, get everything back together, and then I'll get back with you guys. Alright, so I got the new coolant crossover installed. Got this pumped to about 10 psi, and it's been holding. It was leaking a little bit originally. I got scared, but this was just loose. So tighten that down. You see we're not pulling up anything. Holding right about 10 psi, and that's perfect. Obviously the system's gonna go to like 15, but this pump is so stiff, my arms are sore. I'm breathing hard right now. I don't want to pump it any more than that. The coolant leaks up to this point have been fixed. Let's button everything back up, and then we'll proceed from there. Alright, so I finally got everything hooked up. That took a while, but it's fine. It was like 20-25 minutes. Main things was, out of this PCV, this hose was so brittle that I broke it. I think this car overheated, like I said earlier. So it was stuck in the old PCV, and as I was trying to pull it, it broke. I put a couple of rubber hoses here. Hopefully that's fine. I think that'll hold up just fine. It's not under pressure or anything. I got the fuel rail installed, and I pressure tested. Well, I didn't pressure test it. I just let the fuel pump prime. Originally, I had forgot to plug in the pressure sensor, so fuel was spewing out here, but got that plugged back in. Primed the fuel pump a few times, and no leaks here. Got all the vacuum lines routed. So this one, I made sure these flaps are, installed correctly. And then position sensors hooked up here. This large vacuum line that goes across is hooked up. Obviously the coolant bypass. What else? I think that's it. Got those screws back there. And then, yeah, got the map sensor wiring out of the way, ready to go. I think that's it. Got this little thing here. We can drop the supercharger back on. But before we do that, here's the supercharger. And as you can notice, one of the intercoolers is out. That's because, remember, this car has two issues. That PCV was just one of the issues. So we still need to find out why the car was misfiring, right? How the coolant was making it into the combustion chambers. I believe there was coolant in the combustion chambers because when I took that spark plug out, it was steaming. So anyways, on the back, this thing is very heavy, by the way. So on the back of the supercharger, you can't see it now. It's been a couple of days. It's been sitting here dried up, but there was the oil and coolant mixture. And so it was getting into the combustion chambers. And you could see this one, not particularly clean. So anyways, I took it out because I wanted to leak test it. Now, I could have done it in there, but it's fine. I took this out, and I wanted to show you the results of that leak test now. The way I did it, I just poured water into it. So let's go ahead and do that right now. I got a bottle of water right here. I'm gonna just open it up. It's my drinking water, actually. So we're gonna just pour it in here. That's a good amount. And right there, you could see it starting to pull up. And yeah, I also tried it with air. It's leaking from all over, from the center of the core. You could see there's kind of a light spot right there. And then obviously from the bottom as well. So yeah, these intercoolers are done. Well, this one passed, but I'm gonna replace this one as well. I had the customer order up 2 brand new ones, and I'm gonna slap these in. So yeah, let me get these old ones out. Well, I got one of them out. Let me get the other one out. It was a bit difficult. It was stuck in there. Like I said, I think this car's been overheated. All the seals are like hard, and yeah. Anyways, let me get this in there, and then we will slap this on, and I think we should be done after that, honestly. So let's do it. Alright, everybody got the new intercoolers in. As you saw, it was pretty simple. Just had to remove the throttle body for the one side. But here's one of the old ones, the one that was in there still. And you could see that coolant oil mixture. So I wouldn't be surprised if this was leaking under pressure as well as the other one. That one's leaking badly, but this one could have been under pressure or under boost or whatever. Anyways, gonna slap this thing back on now. It's very heavy, not looking forward to it. By the way, a bucket is like the perfect apparatus to work on these, because it gives you space on the top and bottom, and you could just stand it on there. Anyways, yeah, gotta put this all back now. Alright, I got everything back on. It wasn't too bad. The main thing I wasted time on was back here, this thing right here. I had it flipped the other way, so I was just looking for where this pipe goes to the whole time. Turns out the unit flips this way, and then the pipe connects to the intake right there on the side. So yeah, once I realized that, everything else was pretty smooth. I got the coolant pipes back on. I got the coolant system pressurized. 5 psi. I'm not going crazy with it, but it's been holding for a while, so that's good. Got all that hooked up. The new intercoolers, they're sealing. So yeah, everything is hooked up. All I gotta do now is slap the belt back on, and we'll be ready to fire it up. Before we fire it up, I'm gonna leave those spark plugs out and just crank the engine. It's probably gonna start again, but I'm gonna crank the engine because I accidentally spilled a bunch of coolant in one of the cylinders through the intake valve. So yeah, just gonna do that, and then we'll fire it up. Alright guys, I got the fluid extractor connected. We're gonna extract the oil out the top. Hopefully this works, because the way the drain pan is designed, it would drain right onto the subframe, so I don't want to deal with that. That's a stupid Audi design. I'll show you after. Alright, so I tried to use the extractor, where I don't know where I'll put it. I tried to use it, and it just was not pulling anything out. So I got concerned for a second. I thought the oil might be empty, but I opened the drain plug, and not only did I get a lot of oil, but the oil that I got, first of all, look, I got this, like I'm telling you, I got almost like 14 liters, I think, which is insane. That's way above the capacity. But the oil that I got was so thick, I've never seen anything like that in my life. So I'll pour some out and I'll show you guys. But what I did is I refilled it with, where is it here? OW30, which is thinner, because the oil was thick. I wanted to kind of dilute and wash that out. And then the customer provided some 5W40 that he wants me to go in with. So we're going to do a flush with the OW, and then we're going to go in with the 5W. Take it for a drive. But right now I want to fill it with coolant, so I got coolant. I want to use the vacuum filler over there, so let's do that. I'm going to vacuum fill the coolant, and then I'll get back with you guys. Alright, so I messed up. I forgot to close this, but I did it again. We got negative like 7 psi, so that's all good. I don't think that's psi actually. Anyways, these, I was expecting these to get like shrunk, but whatever. Just a little bit. Anyways, let me get this hose hooked up, and then hook it up to the bottle, and it should be pretty satisfying, honestly. Alright, so I got the hose in here. I always like to purge the air, so I'll open this, it'll pull some, and then I'll pull a vacuum on it again. There you go. Now there's absolutely no air, not even from the line in the system. And then we could open this, and you could hear it starting to fill. And just keep an eye on this to make sure you have, enough. So let me go through these bottles, and then once it's full, I'll come back. It might take more than 2, we'll see. Alright, so got a successful fill with the vacuum. Got everything cleaned up. I think we're ready for its first start. I put the new oil in, changed the oil filter out. We're going to do one more oil change after this if it starts up, and we take it for a test drive and all that. But yeah, let me just put these covers back on before I forget, and then we'll take it for a drive. Alright, so on Audis, when you open the door, the fuel pump will prime, so let's just take a listen. You heard that? So fuel pump's prime. I'm expecting it, honestly, just like the last Audi we worked on, to start without any like hiccups or anything, even though we had the fuel system undone. Anyways, let's see. First start, let's go. Smooth. No warnings, no errors. Idling down. I think this thing might need some engine mounts. There's some vibration, but it's not like a misfire type of vibration. Anyways, let's take a look at the exhaust smoke. Wow, none. That's impressive. Get the beauty covers back on, and then let's take it for a drive. Hook up the scanner. You guys know the deal. Alright, so I just cleared the fault codes, no fault codes. Let me pull up some live data, and then let's take it for its first drive. Alright, so I got some basic data pulled up. Throttle position, barrel. I got the 2 intercooler. I think those are for the intercooler temperature sensors. I didn't see any sensors on them, but hey, whatever. Coolant temperature, obviously we want to make sure the bleeding went properly. RPM, IAT, long terms are at 0, and then short terms are at 2 and 0 basically. So if you remember before, they were at like -20. This thing was running really rich. So yeah, that's already a win right there. Let me back it out the garage. Let's take it for a drive. You can see coolant slowly starting to get up to temperature. The heater turned on by itself, so it's good signs, good signs. Let's take it for its first drive. Alright, so I got the car pulled outside, ready to go on its first drive. Got the live data, but let's just take it for a drive. Let's go. Uh-oh. Stabilization control, TPMS. Okay. We're shaking, misfiring. Uh-oh, what just happened? Let me give it a scan. Alright, so scanned it, cylinder 3 misfire. That's the only thing in the ECU, and then the brake electronics is just not happy with the ECU, I guess. That's why all those lights came up and it was acting weird, but yeah, it's an active misfire, like I could feel it. Don't know if you could hear it. Let me see if there's any relevant live data we can look at, and then we'll take it back to the shop and do like a basic diag. Alright guys, so I took the ignition coil out of cylinder 3, it's that one, and it's wet for some reason, so let me get the spark plug out and we'll see. Alright, so I got the coils and plug swapped in 2 different cylinders, so clean slate, cleared the codes. Let's take it for another drive, and hopefully it doesn't misfire, but if it does, let's just hope it moved cylinders. Anyways. The sound you hear is the under pan, it's kind of loose, but yeah, not a big deal. That scared me the first time because I saw the ABS thing on at the same time, but yeah. Oh my god. This thing has some serious pull. Honestly, I think I gotta take it to the shop and screw that stupid underbelly back on before I could drive it properly, because it's making all types of noise, but no misfires so far. Alright, so back from the drive, no misfires to report of. All I did was, this is cylinder 3, so all I did was move that coil here, and then that spark plug, switched it out with this one. So, no misfires as of now, with something just loose. Let's hope so. Let's do the second oil change now. Kind of want to see what the oil's looking like. Ew. Oh wait, never mind. That's the that's the color of the dipstick plastic. I thought it was like chocolate milky again, but no, that looks great. So yeah, let me do the second oil change. Let me get this stupid underbelly on, and then I'm gonna put it under some serious load afterwards. So yeah, let me do that. Got the extractor on, and it's actually flowing now. So insane what a difference that was. I'll show you the old oil later, but yeah, let me just get this oil out all the way. Should fill up, honestly, and then fill it back up with the proper stuff, and then take it on a serious test drive. Status update, got the compressor hooked up. Just filling it up. Couldn't do this yesterday, so that's great. Let's keep going. Alright, so it's filled to the max line and there's still oil in it, so I had to cut it off. Let me empty that a bit, and then I'll continue to drain it till it's empty. So we'll also take a look at the condition of the oil, because I'm curious. Now keep in mind there was a little bit of oil, the coolant oil, left in this container from yesterday, but it was at the bottom, so we should get a good idea of what the oil looks like after the flush. Alright, so we're reaching the end of this. You can see it's just sucking up air now. I actually like this method better. I feel like it gets more oil out of the pan, because there's like a millimeter of a space between the drain bolt and the actual thing. So anyways, that's good. Now I realized while I was recording me kind of pouring the old oil into this, my camera ran out of storage, so let me just show you this real quick. You could see it's still like chocolate milky, but it's way more liquid, which is what we wanted, because the old one, which I'll show you after, it's crazy. It's literally like Nutella. So anyways, that's drained. I'll just keep that in there for now. We'll go on with some new oil, fill it up to the proper level. I get that stupid thing on, and then we will be able to take it on a proper test drive. Alright, got some 5W40 customer provided. Alright, let's fire it up. Beautiful. And then let me scan for codes, and then let's take it for a drive again, and this time we could really push it. Alright, got it outside. Let's go. No more annoying belly pan thing. Hold on, let me put on my seatbelt. Alright, here we go. Wow. Man, this thing is fast. I'll tell you, that supercharger makes for a nice driving experience, and no like turbo lag or anything. So if you don't like that, then this is definitely the car for you. I think it needs a wheel bearing. I hear some type of like whistling coming from somewhere. Sounds like a wheel bearing. Anyways, yeah. However, you gotta, obviously beware of their reliability and the issues that come with owning an Audi. But when they're driving, I must say they drive beautifully. So anyways, I'm not gonna bore you guys with this. I'm gonna take it on my test loop and update you guys if anything happens. Hopefully nothing happens, and then we'll get it back into the garage and conclude. We still need to look at that old oil, which is crazy. I really want you guys to see that. And then yeah. Alright guys, I've been driving it for a bit. Haven't gotten it to misfire. Fuel trims are looking absolutely beautiful. Intercooler is working perfectly. It's not overheating. Drive smooth. I rev super smooth. This is such a smooth engine. It's crazy. Can't beat the V6. I would much rather have this than the Audi A5 that we just worked on recently. With the 2.0T, these 3.0Ts are much smoother, and the supercharger can't really beat it. But yeah, the timing chain on the back of the engine, that's kind of a deal breaker. This one seems to be good though, so yeah. Anyways, what did we learn from this? Again, I think Audi's designs are stupid. Like, this could have been avoided if had you not used plastic in the valley of the engine. Like, do you realize how stupid that sounds? Anyways, other than that, it's to check your fluids often. I mean, this guy got lucky he wasn't driving with that mixture for too long, but had he been driving with that mixture for a while, he could have definitely blown the engine. So yeah. What else? Yeah, I mean, if your car starts having issues, bring it in ASAP. Like this guy, he felt the misfires, he brought it to me ASAP. Some people, they keep driving on it, they ignore it or whatever, and it could lead to catastrophic damage. You could have had a $7,000 bill pulling the engine out of this thing. So yeah, that's that. This thing is fixed. Another Audi done just like that. Hopefully the customer's happy with this. And as always, I hope y'all learn. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope y'all learned something. Did I say that twice? Anyways, I'll see y'all next time, man. Alright y'all, so as promised, I wanted to show you the old oil, the original oil that came out of it. So I got some of it in here. I'm just going to pour it into this cup. Do you see how thick that is? It's literally like chocolate. Like, I'm not even joking. This is crazy. I've never seen anything like this. Got just a screwdriver here. When I tell you this is thick, like this is thick. You could literally see. Like there's resistance dragging the screwdriver through it. Look. And it's heavy. And there was like 15 liters of this in the car somehow. It's making me laugh. This is crazy. I thought oil and water couldn't mix, but look at this. It hasn't separated. It's been days. Yep. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Hope y'all learned something. I'll see y'all next time.